What's going on, everybody? Currently, I am driving in my car, which is why the audio may be a little unclear and you may hear quite a few clicks in the back. That is my blinker turning on, okay? So, regardless of the distractions, this realization that I just had, I have to document it right now. What I'm going to share with you is going to change you. But it will only change you if you decide to believe it. And even then, once you decide to believe it, it's going to take you time to get used to it and to fully adopt it. And that's precisely what we're going to talk about right now. As I'm driving right now, which is when I notice I actually do some of my best thinking, and most of my realizations come when I'm driving. I just realized that I have had a set of beliefs since I was very young about myself and the world, as well as the creator of the world, right? As these beliefs start to become cracked and shattered, I've shared this with a couple of people, but never publicly. I had a belief system, and we all have one, that is like a foundation. Imagine for a moment you have a big slab, a big concrete slab, right? That's your foundation. That holds all of your beliefs, all of your values, all of the things that you have been led to be true or led to believe to be true, and things that you have adopted as this is who I am and this is what I believe, right? That concrete slab, it's just a big old square, it's an octagon, it's a circle, it's whatever shape, it's a triangle, whatever shape you imagine it to be, whatever comes first to your mind, that's your foundation. As you become older and you decide that you are now open to changing and adopting new beliefs that are going to better serve you than the ones that are there on your concrete slab, what starts to happen, or at least what happened for me, I started to see cracks in my slab. Those little tiny cracks that are in the sidewalk, not the ones that divide each square of the sidewalk, but the cracks. After the sidewalk has been worn down, tons of cars have driven by it, people walk on it, bikes ride on it, pets walk on it, right? People walking their dogs, anything and everything you can imagine. Skateboarders, doesn't matter, right? Even sound starts to shake and shatter this foundation, your concrete slab. So I saw cracks in my foundation as I'm beginning to start to believe new ones. But what we have to realize is we will never adopt those new ones if we don't allow our original foundation to break. We have to be willing to allow it to shatter, to break down into shreds, little tiny, tiny pieces into dust. Okay? And once that happens, once it's dusted, light that bitch on fire. Why are we doing that? Because we want to disintegrate it, right? Because what can happen is we can now take those ashes, those dead beliefs, those unworthy beliefs, those undeserving of your conscious beliefs. And what we do is we create something brand new out of it. What's the first thing that comes to your head out of ashes? First thing. Tell me. Say it aloud. That's what it is. That has now become your new foundation. And what's so beautiful about it is maybe you didn't even imagine it re-becoming into a concrete slab. It might have turned into a bird. It might have turned into a statue for you. It might have turned into a symbol, numbers, letters. It could have turned into a pencil. It could have turned into anything, right? Are you starting to see where I'm going with this? What we fail to recognize is that when we start to adopt new beliefs, first of all, it's a choice we're making, a conscious choice. And sometimes it's unconscious. Sometimes it just comes with the territory. You get a new job, you get into a relationship, you have a family, you have children, your beliefs and your values start to change and alter, right? But besides all of that, you're still making a conscious effort to change who you are and what you believe. And it's forced upon you in most instances. What we do is we resist that force. We resist it. We resist the change. We resist the adaptation. I don't even want to ask the question why, because I kind of already know the answer. And you do too. We're comfortable. We are humans and we like to be comfortable, baby. That's how we rock. That's how we roll. The more comfortable we are, the better we feel, so we think. Comfortability is short-term lived though, right? You're only comfortable for so long. You only can take off so many days from working, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work a 9 to 5. You can only take off so many days of work before you have to go back, right? Money starts to deplete. So no matter what, we're going to be forced into uncomfortable positions. So we know for a fact that comfort is temporary. I have been one of the people on this planet who has been all for temporary pleasures, for sure. Otherwise, I would not even be able to utter these words to you. I have been for temporary pleasures, and obviously I'm still a human, so I can still fall a trap to that. The best thing is, though, now I'm conscious of it. Now I decide when and how I'm going to have my temporary comfortability. The better part to the best part is that because I make myself so uncomfortable all the time, being in uncomfortable places is comfortable for me. Doing uncomfortable things has become comfortable to me. So now when I sit and do nothing, or feel as though I'm sitting and doing nothing, that's when I'm most uncomfortable. It's a paradoxical, very interesting, ass backwards way of realization, but let's boil it back down to establishing and adopting new beliefs. In order to change and grow, which is literally part of the purpose of us living, just like a plant, just like an animal, they change and grow as they become older. Since we are the most sophisticated version of the two aforementioned plants and animals, we have a more verified responsibility to act that way and to be okay when we're adopting new beliefs. I have beliefs that I started to, it's 2020. I have shit that I learned in 2017 that I thought I believed the second I learned it, but had to go through so much shit to test me and try me and force me to believe it. That right there is a massive, massive gem to truly be understood. And I don't know how much I understand of it right now. I just know I get it. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect at it. Absolutely not. It just means that I get it. And now I can finally formulate the words to express it to you listening. And you might have heard something like this before, and that's okay. Find something to appreciate in what was just mentioned. If you're still listening, it clearly is touching something in you. And that's something decided that this is what you needed to hear for some momentum to kick in and some traction to build. In conclusion, to adopt beliefs, we have to be patient with them, and we have to know that it's going to take a lot of time. That time, I've learned, can be shortcut depending on how much time you spend on actively adopting this belief. However, the active adoption of a belief also causes resistance. I know this is getting a little weird. It's getting a little weird. I'm still concluding. But the adoption of a belief is also, or the active pursuit of adopting a belief is also resisting it, right? Because the more that you try to race and grab something, the farther away it seems to get, because you go deeper into this kind of rabbit hole thing. So you'll learn, you'll be able to feel in time out, like, okay, now I need to pursue it. Something in me is calling me to go ahead and start to do some research. You'll stumble upon things and there'll be light bulbs to you, and it'll make perfect sense for that time. And a lot of the time, which is why it takes so much time, I've learned to figure out, is because of the fact that you have to just let the flow happen. You've already sent out the desire. You've already sent out the desire to attract this belief or this validation. You're already looking for the validation. So expect it to find you no matter what. Just explore with it though. Play with it and stay open-minded. Don't try to prove everything as this is it. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Because the more you do that, good God, the more you find out how wrong you are about things. And it's crazy. I'm figuring that out massively. I thought one thing meant something and it meant something totally different. It was on a whole different track that I forgot I sent out 2 months ago. It's amazing, incredible, scary, yes, but scary in the best way possible. Scary in the way that you know that you're doing and achieving things that can only be achieved through a divine connection between yourself and your source. That is the conclusion. Thank you so much for listening, and I appreciate it a lot. I promise you, this means more to me than a lot of things. And I really appreciate all of my listeners. I appreciate all my viewers. And I appreciate anyone who's been down for me since day 1, day 20, day 100, day 1,000. I don't care when you started, when you joined the crew. But this is DSL, baby. And we live and love life.